So what did Jesus mean when he said that he was the good shepherd? Shepherd isn't really a word that we use anymore. If I went to college and came back and told my parents I was going to be a shepherd, they'd probably be pretty worried. It's not really a job anymore. I'd say that the closest thing we have to a shepherd nowadays is a babysitter. A shepherd is to sheep as a babysitter is to children. A babysitter's job is to care for the children and to keep them from getting lost. And it's like that with a shepherd too. In this passage, Jesus makes a big deal out of differentiation. He highlights how different he is from the hired hand. Going back to the babysitter comparison, the hired hand is like the bad babysitter, the babysitter who sits on her phone or loses the kids at the park. Jesus is telling us that he is the good babysitter, the babysitter that cares for the children and loves them like their own, and that's what he's promising to us when he says that he's the good shepherd. Another curious thing about the term shepherd is that it refers to a common person. Not a ruler, not a dictator, but a regular person. Jesus could have chosen any title that he wanted, but instead of going for Lord or for King, he went for shepherd. He didn't make himself above us. He didn't make himself like God. If anything, he embraced his own humanity, and he humbled himself. In the passage, Jesus also states how we must take in others who do not belong. Jesus said that there should be one flock and one shepherd. He didn't say that the flock had to be made out of only the most beautiful sheep, or only the most intelligent, or only the bravest. He wants all of the sheep. As human beings, we are all unique, and our differences are what make us special. I think the message here is to be accepting of all people, no matter what their qualities are. One more interesting thing about this passage is how it demonstrates why Jesus is the Good Shepherd. If you look at the last bit of the reading, Jesus states that no one takes it from me, in reference to his own life. He's laying down his life of his own accord, and that is why Jesus is the Good Shepherd. Anyone else in this situation might run away or try to continue leading people without sacrificing anything. Jesus isn't doing this for himself. It would be much easier and much more convenient for him to quit or to stop. In life, when humans are faced with choices, they usually choose the easier one, even if it's not always right. It's important for us to remember to make the right choices, even if it's not always easy. Jesus recognized that he had to die to save all of us. He said that there will be one shepherd and one flock. Jesus chooses to die because he is not content to only save a small group of people. He wants to save us all. One flock, one shepherd.
This Jesus is the stone that was rejected by you, the builders. It has become the cornerstone. Has anyone actually seen a cornerstone? I saw one as I walked into church today. They're shaped differently than a standard block, and they're usually inscribed with the date that the building was built. When a cornerstone is placed, there's a huge ceremony to celebrate it. But why would you have a ceremony for a thing that's been rejected? This is because the cornerstone is an important part of the building. Without the cornerstone, the building would be unrecognizable, and it couldn't get any bigger or more meaningful. When the people rejected Jesus, the cornerstone, they couldn't build anymore, and they couldn't continue. Jesus, however, was the base for something bigger than what people could reject. When the people tried to silence Jesus by killing him, he just became stronger and came back from the dead, the cornerstone, defying death by opening heaven. A cornerstone can be physically chipped, or, in the case of Jesus, beaten, but the essence of the cornerstone will not change. Just because a piece of rock has been chipped off, it's still the same rock. The rock is still made of whatever it's made of, dirt and pebbles and sand and whatnot. Even though Jesus was crucified, his love for us will not change. Everyone in the world has different skills we can use to embrace this love. Were we to line up every single person on this earth in a line, no one would be exactly the same. That's part of what makes us humans. But every person on that line can contribute to continuing Jesus' message of compassion. It's as if one painter can only create a beautiful red color. On its own, it's decent, but not amazing. But when someone who can paint orange comes along, or a yellow, or a green, they can paint a masterpiece with their combined talents. All these individual people, on their own so unremarkable, yet together they create something wonderful. Every building has multiple walls, and each wall has multiple bricks. Each brick has an individual talent, just like the painters. Together, they make up a huge building. But in the grand scheme of things, what is a building? Maybe there's a bigger one down the street, a taller one up the hill a ways, or a newer one a bit to the east. But each building has a purpose in a city, and each city in a county, and in each country, and in each continent, until finally it has made a difference in the world. And isn't that a thing to be proud of, for a little building in the west of a small city? People have different talents and purposes in communicating Christ's message, just as the buildings. But no matter how different we are, as Emma mentioned, we are one flock. Although we're different, we're using our skills to make something beautiful and to continue in what Jesus Christ began. We're all contributing to make a thriving community. If you ever think you don't have a purpose, think again. Sometimes it takes a while to find your place, but it's always there. Sometimes our special skill is difficult to embrace, but we still have to do it, because if one brick is missing, then the whole building, the whole society, is in danger of collapsing. In the reading, Peter knew what he wanted to do, but he was still frightened to talk to the angry people. He had seen them condemn Jesus, and he didn't want to die. After all, he was human, just like us. No ordinary person can stand up in front of a crowd who's just killed his friend and not be scared. The Holy Spirit knew this and helped him speak, giving Peter the confidence he needed to use his talent and to become a cornerstone himself. One hot summer day, on August 28, 1963, a man stood gripping a podium in front of thousands of others. He announced his dream, and though a racist America looked on in horror, he found strength to proclaim his message and to become a cornerstone. His message, though controversial at the time, is celebrated today. What made this man so brave? Yes, he had courage, but he'd been arrested and harassed. How could he do this? He showed a type of resilience found also in Peter. Martin Luther King Jr. was filled with the Holy Spirit as he enlightened America using his special talent and opened our eyes to the truth. Right now, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender organizations are campaigning for acceptance and the right of marriage. These people have faced hate and have been denied the right of love by an America that refuses to let them contribute to our community, just based on their gender or sexual orientation. When Christ sacrificed himself for us, he did it for all of us, not just some of us. Christ was a cornerstone, protecting all humans and bringing them into his fold. Peter was a cornerstone to help us realize Christ's message. Martin Luther King was a cornerstone to help us realize the truth of racial equality. LGBT individuals are the cornerstone for the truth of acceptance for all. Even though a building cannot be built without a cornerstone, a building cannot be built without bricks either. Ordinary people making a difference for a beautiful world. I'm asking us to open our hearts and love all our neighbors, not just those who are like us. I'm asking us to open our eyes and let ourselves see the truth. But most of all, I'm asking us to open our minds to the idea of a place for everyone. Amen.